Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Balash Kadash on the tongue. And I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson. As of June 17th, 2026, on this Wednesday afternoon. And as the stock markets today, I believe the stock markets was up today. Because, a lot of times markets react what's going on, especially with the potential deal, with the signing with Iran and Israel. And then with the potential of because you got the new federal, you got the new federal chair, was because I believe he had spoke like an hour or two ago, I believe. And I think he said the interest rates is unchanged. So you would have thought the markets would kind of went up a little bit, but I was surprised the markets were crashing down. I would say the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones as well too. So you would have kind of thought, with the optimistic with the, with the interest when made, with the interest, being unchanged, and then with Trump's recent talk, with G7 meeting that he had, as he spoke earlier today, you would kind of thought the markets would have been up today, but I was surprised the markets was crashed today. I just want to add a side note to that. And this is from Yahoo Finance, updated today at 3:11 p.m. And it reads: stock markets today, Dow Jones and S&P 500 and Nasdaq slides as Warsh Fed edge closer to rate hike. It says the U.S. stock sank on Wednesday as the Federal Reserve decided to hold interest rate steady in the first decision under the new chairman Kevin Warsh, but also pointed to increased likelihood of rate hike later this year. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite and the S&P 500 both slid by over 1%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average gave up 1% or around 500 points. The move came a day after the Dow Jones at a record high. Progress around the U.S.-Iran peace deal. It says pushing the U.S. equity to the downslide news that 9 of the 18 FOMC members who submitted economic projections with Warsh as the sole member sitting out. It says seeing a rate hike coming by the end of the year, the projection pushed traders fully priced at 1/4 point hike by the year end, per Bloomberg data. Policymakers projected 2026 rate cut in March, but the job market has formed and inflation has risen to the highest level in 3 years, pushed up by the higher energy prices from the conflict in the Middle East. Investors also debated whether the block of oil fuels through the Strait of Hormuz could be cleared quickly as they wait as the U.S.-Iran interim deal to end their conflict after agreeing to a 14-point memorandum, two sides aim to formally assign an agreement on Friday. Both the president said that the memo wasn't final and the U.S. could go right back, dropping bombs right smack in the Middle East their heads if they didn't like speaking at the G7 on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the SpaceX Yeah.
You want to get rained on?
Yeah, sure don't. Yeah. Yeah. It says meanwhile the SpaceX turnover over 3% pose a snap of post-IPO rally has been Elon Musk's lead rocket company eclipsed Amazon, the AMZN, and the market values in the 3 days of trading. It says to 17 updates. It says today at 3:11 p.m. It says the U.S. stocks ends Wednesday in the red as the Fed moves towards a rate hike It says the stock closed out Wednesday in the red after a Kevin Warsh Federal Reserve moved closer to a rate hike, while keep rates unchanged at today's meeting. The S&P 500 ended the day down 1.2%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed the session on a 1% loss. The Nasdaq Composite notched a steepest loss, shedding 1.3%. It's the book of Jeremiah. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup, Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right, so we see the nations are mad, even though the nations are still under the vibration of the mystic daughter Babylon, Babylon the Great, the version of Babylon. But we start to see the nations are starting to turn against her. Babylon has been a golden cup still to this day, because this is the mystic daughter Babylon, Babylon the Great, the version of Babylon in modern day times. Jeremiah 51 verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take bond for her pain is so that she may be healed. Right, so many times the version out of Babylon trying to bounce back, but we'll see signs of it declining. Yahweh Shemashai, he's a righteous balance power. Jeremiah 51 verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. Forsake her, let us go everyone to his own country, for her judgments reach the heavens of the skies. Right, so we definitely going to see the uptick signs of that. But other than that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying, as I was kind of shocked that the market was down today, because it was up at first early this morning. And then, as the days progresses on, a couple hours later, the markets was crashing. So the S&P 500 was down, the Nasdaq, and all three of them was down today, because you had the new federal chair spoke today. He said the rate was unchanged, but they were saying, according to reporting, the near future, the interest rate hike might increase end of this year, potentially, and then the inflation was up as well too. While the square different moves with the oil stuff was taking place. Now you got this war is most likely over between Iran and the United States, as they signed this deal potentially on Friday. But as of right now, the markets was down. The Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq slides as Warsh Fed chair edge closer to a rate hike. So with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying as of June the 17th, 2026 on this Wednesday afternoon. And this is from yahoofinance.com, updated today at 3:11 p.m. The stock exchange over there in New York City. So the stock markets today, the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Nasdaq slides as the Warsh Fed is closer to a rate hike. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash, and Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh. And his unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. Lashon Galash, the Holy Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf. Till next time, I would say Kum Yasharala in the Bible Ball. Shalom.